What's up, y'all? It's Jeff. I got my co-host Zach Cooper, who's going to be reacting to this match as well. But today we are going to be covering Farooq versus The Undertaker from King of the Ring 1997 for the WWF Championship. Yeah, let's just get into it, man. I don't really have much to say. Farooq's doing an interview backstage. They end up recapping what happened last Monday on Raw, when Farooq and the Nation of Domination beat down The Undertaker, which I guess set up for this match. Farooq says that chances are for old folks and fools, and that history will be made tonight, in remark to the announcer bringing up the fact that Ron Simmons, a.k.a. Farooq, could be the first ever African-American WWF champion. Undertaker is back with Paul Bearer. They're backstage, but apparently it's by force, because Paul Bearer is blackmailing The Undertaker. He's holding something over his head, and Paul says that The Undertaker needs to basically do what he says, or else it's going to come out, right? So, before the bell rings, Farooq gets a little sneak attack on The Undertaker, just a little, like 3 seconds before the match started. The bell rings, match starts with Farooq raining down some punches on Undertaker, and then Taker ends up countering and landing his own punches. And he gets Irish whipped into the corner. But Farooq, I guess, hit a clothesline. Yeah, Farooq hits a clothesline. Then he hits a power slam, gets a 2 count. This ref, by the way, just constantly got distracted in this match. The ref gets distracted, and the Nation of Domination lands some punches on Undertaker. Taker hits a big boot and is setting up for the old school, but instead of coming down into the ring with the clothesline, he sends himself flying on top of the Nation of Domination to take all of them out. Taker then takes the fight to the Nation, and then he hits a jawbreaker on the Farooq using the ropes. Taker then goes for old school again, but Crush of Nation of Domination distracts the ref, and the rest of the Nation sweeps Undertaker's legs, making him land on his crown jewels. Haha. Let's see here. Farooq hits a standing suplex, gets a 2 count. The ref is distracted again. Farooq hits a low blow on Taker. He gets a 2 count. Farooq then distracts the ref. The Nation of Domination attacks The Undertaker again. This poor ref, man. He can never stay focused. I don't understand. Farooq goes to swing some steel steps at Taker, but he counters with a boot, and the stairs kind of land like above Farooq's head, so it doesn't actually land down on his jaw. Taker then Irish whips Farooq, but he counters with a pile driver in the ring, and he gets a 2 count. Farooq then has this headlock on Undertaker. I swear it lasted 5 minutes. And he's like using his feet and tying it like within the rope so he can use more leverage to keep that headlock on. Taker eventually is able to get to his feet and hit a jawbreaker to get out of that headlock. Taker then goes for a standing body splash, but Farooq is able to get the knees up. Farooq goes for another pile driver, but Taker ends up countering. Farooq then goes for a move off the top rope. I guess he was going to try to hit like a flying clothesline, but let's see, where the hell am I at? Taker uses his momentum against him basically and turns it into a power slam. Nice. Taker then goes for the flying clothesline, but Farooq ducks it. Paul Bearer ends up screaming at Taker to like, get up, you know, finish the match basically. There is some tension, however, outside between Crush and Savio Vega of Nation of Domination outside of the ring. I guess there's been some brewing tension there for a little bit from what commentary was talking about. Farooq, in the meantime, is able to hit a power slam onto Undertaker, but he gets distracted. Like, hey, what the hell are you guys arguing about, man? Cut all that out. And then Taker gets up, he turns around, runs into Undertaker, and boom. Taker hits a tombstone pile driver for the 1, 2, 3. But then there's a lot of stuff that happens after the match. So we're going to go ahead and get to that right now. After the match, Savio Vega and Crush each get a chokeslam of their own. Paul Bearer is screaming in Undertaker's face to chokeslam Farooq. And obviously Paul Bearer is still blackmailing him. And, you know, if Taker doesn't listen, then the truth or whatever blackmail is going to come out. So he chokeslams Farooq, and then Bear's telling him to do it again. He's like, one more time, one more time. Taker does it again, and then he tells him to do it a third time, and Taker hits a third chokeslam onto Farooq. Ahmed Johnson just decided to run out to the ring to reason with Undertaker and Paul Bearer, and he tells Undertaker, like, get it together, and he's, like, yelling like a meathead, basically, and he's yelling at Paul Bearer, and he's trying to talk sense into Undertaker. Taker tries to clothesline Ahmed Johnson, and Ahmed ends up hitting a Tiger Bomb onto Undertaker. I guess it's his finish. I don't know what he called his finish back in the day. And it ends with Taker and Paul Bearer walking out, still bickering about this whole blackmail thing. I'm going to give this entire thing 2.5 stars. I mean, post-match, match itself, and post-match. And the match itself was a little underwhelming. I'll just say that. It could be the action in the ring itself. Maybe it was just a little underwhelming. It just wasn't hitting with me. But the storytelling throughout, like, I'm going to give it some points. You know, the post-match stuff, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. You know, there was some storytelling, a lot of different storytelling going on. You had Farooq basically having the Undertaker's number. But ultimately, what undid his chances of winning the title was his own people fighting. Crush and Savio Vega having their own beef getting into it. But the story of the match was basically Farooq was figuring out the Undertaker, but he couldn't put him away because he got distracted. And even though he was using Nation of Domination to his advantage and finding ways to, you know, get one over on the Undertaker, he still wasn't able to win. And then you have all the stuff going on with Paul Bearer and the Undertaker, so you have that story going. And then Ahmed Johnson, who I thought wasn't cool with Farooq. I guess now they are. I don't know. But Ahmed Johnson's trying to reason with Undertaker and Paul Bearer. And Ahmed Johnson stands tall over the WWE champion, which is very weird. I don't know if they go on to have a match on Raw and it like ends in a DQ where Taker wins. My computer, no, you did this to me yesterday. Okay, so I don't know like what's going to happen after this, but I'm going to give this whole thing 2.5 stars. The interviews were okay. Like, it did what it needed to do, I guess. The match itself, underwhelming in my opinion. It's no disrespect to The Undertaker or Farooq. I respect both of them. I like both of them from what I've seen from Farooq. And obviously, I love The Undertaker. And the post-match stuff, I mean, I know it enhances the story of the blackmailing stuff, but it's really the Ahmed Johnson stuff for me. I'm not trying to hate on Ahmed Johnson. I know he was popular back in the day. I know a lot of wrestling fans don't like him or don't care for him, but like, I don't know, man. But we'll see what Zach has to say. And then the next pay-per-view we're going to be reacting to, I think, is a In Your House event, Canadian Stampede, I think is what it's called. But that ought to be fun. It's a shorter pay-per-view in terms of how many matches are on the card. So we're basically going to be reviewing half of the pay-per-view. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And again, let's hear what my boy Zach has.